As we all know, end-of-life care, discussion about end-of-life care or palliative care is still very sensitive discussion to make. It's your planning ahead, and expressing your wishes. So anytime you feel comfortable, at least you want to let your family, your close family member, your children, your spouse, or your close friends, or who care for or who love, you wish them to know what your plans are. Religious belief, or it is either their cultural background, or it is their personal, belief. It's different things. Like some people want, ICU admission and treatment. Some people doesn't want any treatment, just a quality and pain-free and symptom-free. And some people don't want to be at home at the last final time of their life. Some people don't want to be at hospital. So make sure everyone understand what the patient final wishes or wishes if possible, and for us is to support as much as we can to match with their final wishes.
When Trish and I first got married, we bought a house, and Beau stayed at the house. He rented one of the rooms for us. So it was always Beau's room.
Yeah, 10 years in communal houses too. We
right back
together.
I got married at 24. I'm 64 now, so he's been around a long time. And of course, when we had our first child, we thought where we're going to put him.
That's right. We said
put
to
him in
Big Beau,
Beau's
you'll
room.
have to move out, Big Beau, because we've got the baby's coming. So then we just called the next little Beau. Just
Because he put him in Beau's room.
Yeah.
So he goes right back. So, and we know each other very well. When it got to the stage where he had to make a decision whether he's going to be institutionalised, for palliative care, because he was failing, he was losing a lot of weight. He said, well, I want to take you up on the offer. He said, I want to go home to my place at the hills, pack my suitcase, come down to your house on the peninsula, and I don't want to go back home.
Well, with Mum especially, she was very adamant that she wanted to go into the hospice, because she felt safe there, and she didn't want the burden to fall on us. So that was an easy decision because Mum made that. And then when we went through it with Dad, it was the same. It was like, well, because of what Mum experienced, Dad's going to go there. So we fought a bit more to get Dad into it, but we certainly got him there. With Greg, he didn't say, I really want to die at home. It wasn't his wish at all. So it wasn't a hard decision to make. I know some people really want to die at home, which is great if that's what they want to do.
With a cancer journey, not always, but in our case, there was an ability to slowly come to terms with it, and once you are preparing for the news that you may not be able to find a cure. So by the time you've actually had that conversation, certainly as a family, we try to prepare ourselves for it. And of course, at the same time, you've got a child who's waking up each day wanting to have fun, because he's not defined by his illness. So when Marmaduke, my son, was declared terminal, my initial thought was, what does that mean for him in terms of his day-to-day comfort? Our call was to stop treatment and bring him home as soon as we could. And at that stage, my wife was already terminal at home herself. So she was terminal, but she was undergoing chemo and trying to maintain a normal life. We sat down and spoke with our consultant, and we were really clear. We just wanted him off treatment, and we just wanted to focus on his comfort. And we didn't know how long he had left. We genuinely, at that stage, didn't know if he had 3 months, 5 months, a year. It can be very unclear when someone enters that sort of terminal phase, what it's going to look like. It can be quite individual for children, and children often surprise you. But we just wanted to, as a family, make the most of each day, but we also wanted him to get the most out of each day. So we wanted him to be surrounded by familiar faces, familiar colours, familiar smells. We wanted him to be in bed with his his brothers and sister climbing in with him. And we just wanted him in the family home so that we could spend whatever time we had left in the best possible way. I think sometimes there is a fear around the word palliative care, that by embracing palliative care you're somehow facing death. Palliative care, in my experience, is so far from that they can accompany you at a very early stage of the journey, and actually they can help. They certainly helped my son at the extreme end of his journey, but also they were incredibly helpful early on as well, which allowed him to transition into the house, allowed him to have fun and play with his siblings. And so what I would ask is that when people think of palliative care, you think of the child or the adult who's going to need it. Think about what it can unlock for them. And I think you'll be surprised once you start exploring what comfort means, how you may also be able to contribute to the comfort around someone on a terminal journey. And I think unlocking what comfort means may also remove some of the fear for friends and family.